be talking about what it takes to create a children's book, just knowing the basics and dive into some general topics so you are aware of what to expect when you are developing your first children's book. It can be very overwhelming to figure out where to start and what to do first, but I just want to give you a pretty brief overview of what you need to know so that can help prepare you on what to create for your first children's book. The topics I'll be going over today will include general process from illustrating to actual publication, some book details information like what size you want to create, as well as the illustration process, like do I need Adobe to really get to be published, and just a really basic overview of the publication process. I did have a co-author with my book that I launched last year. It's the Embrace Your Shape book, and this is just based on my experience and what I learned throughout the process, and just kind of want to share some insights. So to start off with the general process, what we first started was seeking out someone who was already established book author. We knew someone that was already established and published several books already, so we went to her and asked her basic questions like what you're doing now, some of the questions that we had some concerns about or things to expect. So it was really helpful to have someone that you know to refer to and to reach out if there were questions that will come up, instead of just really seeking out YouTube videos and just figuring out bits and pieces. So I thought that was really helpful. You can get someone that can help you with your book process, even just answering basic general questions. I think that'd be really helpful to start out with. The second thing was that there was a person we did seek out to do an editorial and development review of our storyline, mostly just the text part. That really helped inform what the illustrations were going to be. It was recommended by that author to seek out someone who was professional in developing storylines and editing our text. So that was the second recommendation I would suggest, because they were the ones that helped refine our text and really develop the storyline from start to finish. So I think seeking someone who is professional in doing this can be really helpful in making sure your book has a really good storyline from the beginning, middle to the end. So it was really helpful to have someone like that as well. Overall, the general process, it did took about at least a year and a half to really refine everything, just because both me and my co-author, we have full-time jobs, so it was a little difficult to try to squeeze in illustrations, meetings with these people, but overall it did take some time. As you can probably tell, creating and developing illustrations from concept ideas to actual final illustrations does take time, so I'm just letting you know it does take a lot of time, especially if you are a first-time author. You're trying to kind of perfect everything and trying to want to make sure that your illustrations are to your standards. Just give yourself that time and time frame. You don't need to rush the process. I highly recommend just having a nice final product that you are proud of. And this is your first book, so don't be so into all the details and nitty gritty, but just have a final version that you are going to be proud of and will release to the world and for everyone to see. In terms for your book size, we did an 8" by 8" square book. There are various ranges of children's book sizes you can start with. I thought that 8" by 8" would be a nice size for their first time author. You can go bigger, which is somewhat normal and somewhat easier for kids and adults to read. Just be mindful that you do need to create bigger illustration spreads if you do that. So just kind of considering that as well if you do want to go bigger. But I think 8" by 8" is a really nice standard size to start with, especially if you're a first-time children's book author. For the book page numbers themselves, we also did a 32-page book. It is recommended to do even numbers, so whatever book spreads you want, just make sure it's either 28 pages, 30 pages, 32, 34. The general number on average should be 32 pages for a nice storyline, so I would consider starting out with 32. Our 32 pages did include the title page, which is here. So that includes 2 pages of that and then 2 filler pages. So essentially the spreads were 28 pages in total.